Hey now, so today I'm going to talk about grant writing for beginners. So if you need help getting started with grant writing, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hey, this is Tiffany with Boss on the Budget. I help new and small nonprofits get up and running. Subscribe to my channel so you can get each video that I drop every week. So today, again, this is my video that talks about grant writing for beginners. If you have no idea where to get started, you know you want to start writing grants for your nonprofit, but you don't know what to do, how to write, where to get started, here are 5 pointers that I'm going to give you to help you get over that hump. All right? So the first thing I recommend you do is to find 1 to 3 grant applications that you may be interested in for your organization. And you're not necessarily going to apply to them. So it could be that the deadline has passed, right? So you're not planning to apply, but you still want to look at what's required of you. What is the grant funder asking for? If you get up to 3, you may find that they're asking for similar information. But what I want you to do is look at the questions and get a sense of what they're asking and how they're asking it. And I would start writing to see how easy or difficult it is to fill in those questions. And whatever that you're unable to fill out, you know you may have work to do in building that out or developing that for yourself. So if you see that question or similar information being asked in another proposal, you'll be more prepared in the future. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to build an outline for your first grant proposal. And I talk about master grant proposals a lot, and that's a proposal where you have the foundational stuff about your program, right? So there are common elements of every proposal. So check out this video if you want to know what those common elements are. And that master proposal will basically be your finished narrative that covers all of that. But you start, before you get there, you start with an outline. So outline the different sections that you may want to add to this grant proposal and just start writing. And so this relates to what I just talked about, right? So if you see what people are commonly asking for in their requests for grant proposals, you can use that information to help build your outline so that you know what to be prepared for when it's time to start writing grants. If you need help with coming up with an outline and start to populate that master grant proposal, I do have a grant writing workbook that does that for you. So check out the link below to help you write and draft that first proposal, and it also includes a sample proposal for you. The third thing I want you to do is start gathering supporting information. So you'll quickly learn that grant funders typically ask for the same types of things. They're going to ask you for your 501c3 letter. They may ask you for your articles of incorporation. They're going to ask you for financial statements and your budget. So I suggest you start gathering that information and store it in one common place where everyone in the organization can access it. So when it's time to start applying, you can easily find it. So gather a list of the typical supporting items that you would have in a grant proposal. Start gathering that information, start populating it so that you'll have it ready for your grant proposal. And the grant writing workbook that I just talked about also includes a worksheet to help you do that. The fourth thing I suggest you do is to find a common grant application. So if you don't know what a common grant application is, check out this video that I did a couple years ago that explains what it is and how to find one. Now, every area doesn't have a common grant application, but it is a form that becomes like the standard form that funders can use to collect common or the same information from potential grantees. So instead of creating their own application process or their own request for proposals process, they will say, use the common grant application that they've agreed upon to use with other funders, and you just fill out that same application and you can use it across a number of different funders. This is another way you can help build out your own grant proposal. Common grant applications often have great questions. There are some great common grant applications from around the country, and they really help you get to thinking and help you understand better what funders are looking for, because multiple funders built it together, basically. So there are awesome resources that you can use to figure out how to write a grant proposal. And the last thing I suggest you do is to just start writing. So I have a grant writing support group on Facebook, and a lot of people come into the group very new to the process. they're still beginners and they're just frustrated and they're confused and they're like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do with this whole grant writing process. My recommendation is to just start writing. If you know what your program is about, why you got started, what you do, just start writing it down. And the reason why I believe a lot of people are so intimidated by grant writing is because they believe they have to have a perfect proposal. They believe they have to have a perfect program and everything has to be all nice and tidy. And that's the only way they can win grants. And that is not necessarily the case. As you get more advanced in grant writing, you'll realize that in a lot of situations, the proposal is the least thing you need to be worried about. Really, you need to work on cultivating relationships, getting to know your funder, understanding how they fund and why they fund the things that they do, and building genuine relationships with their staff and with possibly their board. So once you realize after you start writing a little bit that relationships matter way more than what you write, it's going to be less intimidating for you as you start drafting your proposals. Now, I go through this relationships process in my grant writing masterclass. If you want to check out that masterclass, it's also in the link below. See, I got a lot of resources for y'all. I already knew what you needed before you knew you needed it. But if you need help thinking through, well, how do I develop relationships with funders? Where do I even start? Where do I even find them? That masterclass covers everything you need to know about that process. It includes a replay of a class that I did a couple of months ago, and also some awesome resources like scripts for reaching out to funders, a grant writing calendar, and timeline. All right. So I hope this information was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments which recommendation resonated the most with you. And as always, you got a question for me? You can find me at www.bossonabudget.com and I'll be happy to assist you. All right, guys, see you in the next video.